Thank you.
You good?
Okay.
Yeah. Got it?
Good morning. I wish I was here to talk under better circumstances, but unfortunately, I'm here to announce the arrest of a policeman this morning. 3.5-year veteran Zachary Taylor, policeman with our agency, who's been arrested for DUI, 1 count, first-degree misdemeanor. Early this morning, several citizens called in 911 to report a bad driving pattern by a police officer in a marked unit. That vehicle apparently struck multiple construction cones down by the stadium where they're doing construction. The call quickly went through our comm center, and it was relayed to our Integrity Special Investigations Unit, who was able to quickly respond where they made contact with Officer Taylor. And in doing so, discovered that he was exhibiting signs of being under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. They have conducted a DUI investigation this morning, and he has been arrested for the DUI. He's being criminally charged for DUI, but then there will be the administrative process because we have where the state statute says that he can't be above a .08. Our policies and procedures do not allow him to be over a .000. That means absolutely no alcohol in your system whatsoever when you operate a JSO vehicle. I will say that he did partake in a breathalyzer and toxicological room over at the jail, and that his blood alcohol level far exceeded not only our 000 obviously, but the .08. So we are emergency suspending him. The civil service rules allow us under particular circumstances to impose what's called an emergency suspension. We very rarely do it because situations don't call for it, but we believe it does in this situation. And we will move to terminate him as soon as the time is appropriate. So this marks the 3rd arrest of 2021, all of which have been policemen, compared to 11 in all of 2020. And I will take any questions that you may have.
Can you talk about, is he going to have any sort of enhanced, is the DUI just the DUI for driving under the influence, or is there a special law that enhances penalties if you're operating a police vehicle? Can you speak to that?
So no, and again, that would be the prosecution of the case in the courts. He is charged essentially with the same DUI that you would be if you operated your vehicle. I won't say oftentimes, but a couple times a year we do have employees, policemen, while in their personal vehicles they get charged with DUI, and we obviously arrest them. The challenge here is the administrative portion of this is why you would immediately move to fire him and emergency suspend him because he is in his marked unit. So the enhancement comes from the administrative side. We cannot control whatever the courts do to him.
Is there an indication as to what he was doing prior to that point, or where he was, or where the alcohol may have been consumed?
There's one statement that he made that'll be somewhat vague because he still has the same rights as everybody else does for their case going through the court proceedings, is where there's an indication of some activities claimed by the employee the night before.
And can you say specifically what the BAC was?
No, I'm not going to.
As far as it was citizens who called in, can you speak to the citizens' rights to call on an officer if they witness something like this?
Absolutely. So this being an extreme obviously ends in an arrest, but we get in the neighborhood of several hundred to 1,000 complaints on policemen every year. The reality is that every one of them gets investigated. They can be made anonymously, or you can leave your name. So you can contact internal affairs, or you can make it to a supervisor on the street. If you're not happy with or if you believe or interpret that an officer is conducting himself involving misconduct, you can make that complaint, and then they are fully investigated. Whereas we track the numbers of how many are sustained, and what those disciplinary actions are, which you as a member of the press can ask for.
Has he said at all what he was doing before? Has he talked about that at all? Was he out drinking in the car, out of the car?
There's no statement in reference to that. As I told Ms. Yes just a second ago, he alludes to activities from the previous night.
Thank you, Undersheriff.
Okay, thank you.